chewing on mic?
Probably.
I'm having Mexican street corn diamond almonds, but it's weird because they taste like sweet corn.
Yeah, I can show you. You want to just kind of set up what the heck we're doing here?
Well, we're back. Third Wednesday in a row. St Croix River. We got 3 sturgeon rods in. I've got this little rod that I'm trying to catch whatever I'm marking, which are not sturgeon. Oh, that's the spicy almond right there. And so far, we have 1 channel cat. That was about, what, 12 inches long?
Yep.
Greg,
what time we get out here, you think?
We're shut up by 3, I think.
Okay.
And it's, what, 7 now?
Coming up on 7:30, maybe? Time flies when you're having fun.
We haven't had a sturgeon bite yet. I just missed something on this rod, so now it's driving me crazy. So the little rod is here to keep me entertained. But the big bobbers have been doing nothing. And we've got some fat crawlers and some shiners and some fat heads. And I have Gulp alive, Nightcrawler and Minnow edition. I mean, what could go wrong? Right?
Right.
But I might end up spraying this on my almonds before the night's up.
Yeah, so we got, so you can have 4 rods between 2 of us here. I think maybe, yeah, it's 2 apiece. So we actually got 4 rods working. We've got sturgeon rod there for that hole. Another sturgeon hole there. And then over here is the hole I'm fishing out of. And that was a real pain to drill, let me tell you. So yeah, I got the fish finder hole there, and Pete's Garmin fish finder, not live sonar.
I'm gonna lift that jig up and bring that fish back to me.
So yeah, so Pete's kind of.
I'm coming up.
Working on some, but are probably, I'm guessing some of these fish are in the middle of the water column. They're more likely, I'm saying crappie is what I'm thinking. Not for sure though. I guess they could be channel cats. Channel cats will do that.
That's true. Well, mostly all I'm doing is scaring things.
Yeah. So yeah, we're sitting in 32 feet of water, 32.9, nearly 33 feet of water. And thanks for joining us. Give us a like if you don't mind.
Can they hear us? Can you find that
Yeah,
out?
I guess, yeah. Can you, you want to get your phone out, Pete, just so we can see comments? But yeah, if you can let us know if you can hear us, hopefully. We kind of we're getting the bugs worked out live streaming. So we're getting better and better. I'm going to put this in the tripod here.
It's important to note that most sturgeon trips, you come away without a sturgeon.
Yeah.
So we're not sitting here totally devastated by our lack of action. But
is it most sturgeon trips?
I would say yes. More than 50%.
Yeah. But gosh darn it, tonight's going to change. We are going to...
I keep saying...
We're going to catch them.
It only takes one.
That's for darn sure. For sure. Yeah, if you don't mind just kind of letting us know that you can hear us. This is both me and then Pete. We're both mic'd. And yeah, we're also filming for an edited show too. Got the point of view camera here. Got a wider shot over here. Got a camera over there.
I like I opened up YouTube and it's immediately just... Yeah, we're good.
Once you can hear you as well.
Testing 1 2.
Oh yeah, nice.
Am I good?
Yeah. So then we have kind of our handheld camera. We hook up with that 60-inch Sturgeon to just get everything well documented for an edited show. But what I'm kind of finding myself, I'm realizing that I'm having some difficulty getting an edited show out on Friday. Just been busy. Was on a shoot this weekend, so I'm kind of life is it's hard to get an edited shoot out the door because this will be our third time now sturgeon fish.
Mm-hmm.
So
We got a couple of sturgeon the first night out, but nothing huge.
yeah,
And then
I still haven't edited that show.
second night, flat. Now I have street corn almonds, as I mentioned before, and I don't think they're that great. And that's not helping.
Yeah, you need to have good snacks when you sturgeon fish.
The elote, it tastes like just tastes like sweet corn. Like if you were just to eat sweet corn without butter or salt or seasoning on it. And then it leaves a sweet corn aftertaste in your mouth, which I don't mind sweet corn, but I was looking for like some sort of junk food snack, you know?
Okay.
So I don't know if I'd recommend these.
Yeah, well,
Here, try one.
I
Tell me
guess
what you
I'll-
think.
all right.
I think they're
These
should,
are almonds?
yeah. They
Oh,
should
wow.
They
That
should
is quite different.
they should be full of some sort of crazy seasoning
Wow.
though, right?
I like it.
You like them?
Yeah, I really like Mexican street corn. So.
I do, but Mexican
Let me
street
try it. Give me two. Let me try two.
Mexican street corn's got like a lot of queso and red,
Right.
like a little bit of heat. It tastes like sweet corn though.
So how do we know if we got any comments?
There wasn't any yet.
Okay. Well,
But I'm sure there's people going, is this the kind of thing I should be watching?
you should totally be watching this.
There's 8 people on right now.
Appreciate it, guys.
Somebody say something. Check in. Where are you guys from? What's
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, we're on the St Croix River.
We need your help.
Wisconsin is over there. Minnesota is over here. And we are, like this, I think I said this already, we're sitting in 33 feet of water. We got, what, 16 inches ice?
Something like that. Enough
We're
to
in a
break a
clam
sweat.
hub-style shelter. Pete's got his heater behind. It's very, very comfortable.
There's no wind tonight. There's on and off precip.
Yeah, we've had some. Thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate the likes. The algorithm.
Oh, Jeremy said something.
Okay.
Oh, he's from Minneapolis. You're not far away, Jeremy.
Right on, man.
I'm going to come out here. If you could bring like a casserole or something, we'd
Yeah,
appreciate it.
just good hot dish would be great.
With plates and spoons.
So yeah, we're just eating a lot.
I'm I'm getting fish to follow my little lure around, but I'm really just out here for the bobbers. The sturgeon fishing is all about the bobbers.
You're welcome to partake. I brought the Snyders of Hanover. I actually used to live near this
Oh,
town.
those are great. Are those
Not
the
that
mustard
far from
ones?
Gettysburg.
Yeah, honey mustard and onion.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be terribly annoying to listen to though as a live stream
That's true.
listener.
It's true. That is a good point. I
think
hadn't thought
I'll-
about that.
I think we're gonna have a beer though. Is my cooler outside? I think it is.
Is it? Yeah. Want me to go get it?
No, I can go get it.
All right. So, yeah.
I'm gonna fluff on my way out.
Yeah.
It's a nice fluff.
Yeah, explain that. What does that mean when you fluff your
You
rig?
just kind of, it's soft mud down there. I got a bunch of crawlers and minnows stuck on there. It's like this big, fat, messy lure of protein. And sometimes just making a mess down there in the mud, kicking up some soil, creates a little cloud of chaos down there, worth investigating. And I'm hoping there's a sturgeon close by that's like, wonder what's going on there. I'm gonna have a bite or two. It's happened enough where we fluffed and immediately got a bite. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I've talked to a lot of guys that have had that success with it. I don't know where to put this pole. It's getting so slippery behind me because of that heater.
Yeah, we kind of got an ice rink right behind this heater there, but yeah. Jeremy Adair, thanks for joining us.
Hey there.
Greg Underdahl, Pete Wagner. Yeah, give us a like if you're watching. It's great for the algorithm and it makes us feel good.
It'll make you feel good.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. How many beers are you bringing back?
As many as we need. I'm probably just going to grab the cooler.
Okay. Sounds
Desperate
good. I
times.
will keep an eye on your floats.
Desperate
I
time.
tried it. Sometimes I'll say floats. It's just a little bit more professional.
This
you know,
ice
than a
is
bobber.
super clear here. We got ourselves a little lake going here now too.
It would be something if the heater just
Just
made a hole right into
went right to the
down into the river.
right to the center of the world.
That would be something. Yeah. So.
It's a lovely night out here.
What's that?
It's a lovely night out here.
It is nice. Yeah. There's not much wind outside.
Got low clouds, so there's a lot of light out here from the city.
Low outdoors. What? Appreciate you. You guys have absolutely got me excited to try for sturgeon out there. You should be excited. There are times where it's on fire out here. There's times where you can catch. Oh boy, Pete is.
There's a bear out here.
Yeah. Luckily, he did that out there. So, there are low outdoors. What is your first name? You told me one time, and I completely forgot. Refresh my memory. What is your name? Yeah. So there is a lot of sturgeon in this system, and you can catch numbers of them sometimes, and they can be very big, which is a pretty unique ice fishing experience. And near Minneapolis and St. Paul. So, here in Minnesota. So, it's a super unique fishery near the metro, near a metropolitan area, and unique species. You know, a lake sturgeon, be able to catch a very big fish through the ice, and the fishery here on the St. Croix has gotten much better. They've done a great job, really getting this fishery to a point where there's a lot of fish in here. But there are times when they just don't want to bite, and other times where it's kind of just like fishing. But I would say our success right now. Like if you're Darren Troseth, you're probably 70% successful. Whereas
Darren he told us last week. He was like,
isn't that what he said?
No.
I thought he said 30% failure rate.
Oh, maybe that's what he meant, failure rate.
Yeah. I think we're more around the 50% failure rate.
Ah!
Whoa, what was that?
There's a lot going on here.
So, it's one of those things you got to get out on the ice. You got to get your line wet and just do it. And
it's just
with enough
time on the water.
Practice and time on the water, you will get better at it, and you will hook into a sturgeon, and you have a good chance of probably catching the biggest fish of your life. So I highly recommend it.
That is the thing. Like, it's hard to go ice fishing and have massive fish potential. You know, it's like a lake trout in Canada, a pike thing in Canada, northern Minnesota, but around here. All right, this is a good luck charm, Shiner Bach.
Oh, nice, buddy. Texas beer.
Yes.
Heard it plain and clear all across the world, Jeremy Adair said.
Heard.
Luke, thank you, brother. Luke, all right.
Brother Luke.
Greg Underdahl, Pete Wagner.
Nice to meet you, brother.
I was going to say, even just one, that makes it all worth it. Yeah. 2 trips ago, Pete caught 2. And so we are due. The last time we went out, we did not catch any. So we're due for several on this live stream.
We even had a guide stop in last trip and put his live scope down the hole, and then we could see sturgeon come by and not bite. And that was somewhat entertaining, but no less annoying. Now there is nothing on my screen as far as a mark. Gonna try and make a ruckus down there. If anything, I think it's nice having something you can just bang around down there to create some interest. Even though this rod does not need to be caught or catching sturgeon, because it would be a lost cause with 3-pound tests.
So we're allowed to have 2 rods apiece. Pete is doing some crappie walleye fishing this time.
Yeah, anything.
Because there are not all the marks. There's constant marks here on the graph. There's a lot of fish in this system. They're not all sturgeon. A number of them are probably crappie. Caught a little channel cat before the live stream.
Yeah,
A lot of life down there.
we were talking about the fact we've never caught a channel out here, and then we caught a channel. That was interesting.
Luke says Pete is down by Rochester, right? Yep.
Yep. Yes,
Does he ever get out on the local? Let's see here. I'm having a part. Local.
reservoirs.
Let's say right there. Over there, Zumbro.
Lake Zumbro, are you talking Lake Zumbro or just the many branches of the Zumbro River? Lake Zumbro, I have not been able to crack that code. It's weird because it's a reservoir. It's got huge channel cats in it. It's got some good smallmouth fishing, some good largemouth fishing, some decent walleye fishing. I've ice fished it, but there's notorious methane bubbles out there, which makes it extremely dangerous if you're solo because you can just be walking along and fall through the ice. But I have floated all those rivers in my kayak, and there's fantastic smallies mixed with trout where the springs are popping. Good pike fishing. The Zumbro right under the dam is a pretty fabulous place to drop. A bar owns the entry, which is great because there's a bar there. You pay them $10 and then you can fish below the dam, and it's just this 20-foot hole that is loaded with every species imaginable, including muskies in the 50-inch range. And they're only in like the first half a mile of the river after the dam, which is kind of a bizarre thing. But do you fish down there? Is that Luke?
Yeah, that's Luke. Low Outdoors.
Or are you a Rochester guy, Luke? Because I'd be curious what you're doing down there. Rochester has 5 reservoirs down there, 2 which are good for ice fishing. It was part of their flood controls, so they destroyed some trout streams to create some flood control. Finally, you got a mark again. See if I can talk him into something.
Yeah, so Pete's got seen a mark on his graph. I don't know how many feet off the bottom of it.
About 7 or 8. I scared him away.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, give us a like. Likes are very good for our self-esteem and, more importantly, for the algorithm.
My favorite river to float down there, Luke, is the Root, which is kind of a red horse thing in the spring, which is one of my favorite ways to welcome spring. But there's amazing channel cats, shovel-nosed sturgeon. You know, I like to get down to Fillmore County. But what do you fish for when you're fishing? Yeah, that damn area is incredible. Agreed. Where do you float? What's your target species? I know eyes and smallies seem to be a big thing down there, but it's weird. People that fish it, you can't fish it with a regular fishing boat, so it's got to be kayak people, and it's a very specific type of fisherman that generally doesn't talk about it on their online or anything, so there's a lot of hidden fishing down in that area. I'm still trying to figure it out, I guess. But there is a lot of water. It's just driftless is so different than everywhere else. There's just no natural lakes. When we floated from that dam spot, about a mile downstream, there was guys fly fishing pike down there. But the Zumbro's weird. Getting access unless you're on it is weird. You can only get on it in a couple spots, and you kind of have to stay on it. When it floods, I'll run my motorboat up the flooded river when it's raging, and then get to these huge swirling holes that only happen when there's floods, and the cats will move up into it. That's some of the most fun I've had up there, but it feels incredibly dangerous at the same time. But remember there was late season catfishing we would do out in the Zumbro? Northwoods Angling was doing it out there.
Yeah, no, I know there's channel cats. It has been done before, ice fishing for summer. Yeah,
right in the middle of the channel. But a guy pulled the state record channel out of there. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture. A guy from Pine Island, and there's pictures of it. I mean, he didn't weigh it or measure it, but you can tell by the size of it that it's in the neighborhood. And it was a nighttime catch. And I would love to know what they're doing. Nighttime catfishing in the boat 20 minutes from my house is a pretty fabulous concept. Are you in Rochester, Luke? You live in the city of Rochester proper? Oh, he's got videos up. Wading, kayak fishing around the Zumbro Route. Upper Iowa, huh? So, like, where are you fishing Upper Iowa? Is that... Doesn't that come through Grand Meadow? And then go straight south there? Like, is there access on the Upper Iowa with waders? Because one of my favorite things to do is wade fishing. I had a dream last summer of finding places I could catfish with waders on, and I pursued that 4 or 5 times. And it was hard. It's like, and I failed miserably. But I'm going to keep working at it. I live kind of like by the South Branch Zumbro, which is probably the smallest branch, but it looks so great. But in the summer it gets really low and there's a lot of wood. I'll definitely check out your videos, Luke, because I want to see what's going on around there. But I do a ton of trout fishing too, so I would say, 95% of my fishing down there is me wading in trout streams.
And who makes the best inline spinner for trout fishing?
Blue Fox.
Yeah, it's really
Number
amazing.
3.
Yeah,
Silver or gold.
we kind of some of the earliest fishing we ever did was trout fishing down there. More often than not, we just use inline spinners. And the time that we figured out that to catch trout consistently, like all you do is you fish the riffles in the summertime.
And you keep moving.
And you keep moving.
Yeah.
And you can have, to catch bigger fish, you don't necessarily want to do that, They kind of are, a little bit different areas, but you can just fish riffles and go crazy down there and catch so many fish. And we would use inline spinners, just a kind of a typical like trout spinner, but all the, we'd use the rooster tails, all the different brands, but Blue Fox are like, it is funny how they really are the best.
They don't
spinners, I think,
foul. I use the bigger ones when I'm smallie fishing in the Zumbro too. I'm sure they work great for pike and whatever too. I will let you know there, Luke. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't know, there's something about being in the water and hiking up those creeks that's a different experience than the boat. I've really wanted to float that stretch from like Zumbrota to Zumbro Falls, I think is the next city. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that stretch. Basically where it crosses 52. You can go further than that obviously, but a lot of that stuff below, it looks amazing. Even down by, Kellogg, where it comes into the Mississippi down there, the river looks amazing. It's, 4 branches coming together and pushing their way out of there. But yeah, the thing with those kayaks is like, you gotta have 2 cars. Like, how are you doing it, Luke? If you're jumping in a kayak, are you always doing it with somebody else? Or are you figuring out a way to... I've used outfitters out there before just to move a car for me, but that's always the battle is if you're solo, you don't have a way to move a car in kayaks. Look at how quiet my screen is all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm still getting some stuff here over here.
Got it, Luke.
I guess now it's kind of quieting. Yeah, maybe that's a good sign. Maybe there's a giant sturgeon coming in.
That's always the standard fishing thinking when you're... although your graph's looks like something on the bottom, huh?
Yeah, Yeah, there's some activity on my graph over here. But.
Yeah, lots of work, but worth it. That's always the game. I just love the exercise. I get sick of sitting in a boat all day. Wears me out.
Yeah, so we are due for a big sturgeon. It's been...
we've got...
we're due for a sturgeon, really. I shouldn't get too greedy, but...
Yeah, I'll take any version.
Yeah, let me just kind of show you what we're doing here, the whole setup. I'll get this off of the tripod here and show you where we're living for a few hours. And yeah, if you would, give us a like if you haven't already. We like it, and the algorithm likes it. So there's Pete, and he's fishing for sturgeon there.
Sturgeon rod.
Okay.
This is my little rod.
He's
trying to pick up something. You can see the foam bobbers sitting in there. They're just very delicately delicately floating there. So the slightest movement, we're setting the hook. You're not wasting any time, but movement has been not something we've seen a lot of so far tonight.
Describe how how difficult it can be to drill these holes, Pete. You got 3 holes here.
Yeah, you can see that one's a little awkward. The first one's easy. The second one wants to slide into the first one, and as soon as you break off it when you're halfway down, now you've got trouble. And then the third one is equally as tough. And when you have a 1.5 foot of ice and you've done that 3 times, you're tired. And then you've got to do another 6 holes to get 2 more sturgeon holes. Then you got to cut a couple of transducer holes. I mean, I went from being cold to sweating so bad I had to take my jacket off in a matter of like 10 minutes. Setting up camp is brutal. And tearing down is not easy on you when it's cold and in the middle of the night. Tonight the wind is down. That makes a huge difference. But it is a stamina thing. But, you know, we're driving to our spots. Like, this in a sled is far more difficult than parking right next door to your tent and popping it up out the back of the car. But I still got to get home to Rochester tonight. And by the time you get back in the car, for some reason, it's physically taxing, I guess, just from drilling all the holes and then tearing everything down. Starts to wear you down. This thing, like fitting this clam back into a bag, is a knuckle buster. You can't do it with gloves on, and there's usually a lot of snow and ice on it. Part of the battle here is you cut these holes so deep, it creates so much slush in the water that you're using the scoopers to clean the holes, and it never ends. And you're throwing it out the door. You can see the doors full of ice and water. And then you're shoveling all the snow that you pulled up with the augers. So you have this huge shoveling, scooping operation going on as you're getting your day set up. But once you get everything set up and you get the heater on, it is lovely. Buck, you were asking about which BWCA permit did I get. I've never done this one, Snowbank number 27. 28 is just Snowbank, 27 gets you in. So I'm going to Fraser Thomas, which is north of Alice. I've done Alice, Malberg, everything below there. But they are walleye, smallies, pike, and lake trout on both of these lakes, full of islands and crazy amounts of depth. So I'm looking super excited. I've done the north of it, the knife area, and I've never done that in between, but it's pretty much the dead center of the Boundary Waters. So it's, I don't know, a good 8 hours. We're staying at the Snowbank Lodge the night before. They get a nice little motel there, and then our canoes will be ready, so we're pushing off at like 4 in the morning. There's always light, enough light. So I'm all fired up, and now the wait begins, you know. It's like, now I got to wait 6 months. I guess 5 months now, but it's still torture. So I think we're departing on the 13th of June. I was hoping to go earlier because it seems to be getting hotter every year, but couldn't get my buddy to get out any sooner. So we've been up there now in June, and we've had 100-degree days, like multiples, which is insane for that far north. You know, they're something. Used to see snow late into May. Now we're seeing 100 degrees in early June. So, are you going somewhere, Buck? Did you get a permit? Oh, look at you, buddy! You're giving me some Laker tips. You know, this is just a comment 5 months before I'm going, but I will never forget what you just put there, which is going to the south side of Thomas for Lakers. Have you been up there in June fishing for Lakers? Because that's kind of that time where they're starting to move deep. They're moving out of the shallows. It can be very widely, but are you trolling? Are you dropping jigs? We like to drop jigs. We do some trolling, but trolling that deep is kind of tricky. I would assume they must be clear lakes, but I love those lakes up there that still hold lake trout. It's like, it's pushing further and further north. Like, that stuff is starting to disappear, and just the fact that there's still a bunch of them up there is really a treat, you know? That's the frustrating part to me about Alice, because probably one of my favorite lakes up there, but not a single Laker in there. And then you just portage straight up, land in Thomas, and all of a sudden it's a whole different game up there. But I fished Thomas at the end of May. Little Cleos, huh? And 40, 60 feet of water. So are you using a big, heavy little Cleo and getting it that deep, or are you putting some weight in front of it and then dragging it around? Because that's always seems to be the trick to me. Like, in a canoe getting something that deep. I guess I've weighted down spoons before. Not little Cleos though. I should use smaller spoons because I'm sure they cut better, especially Cleos, which seem to be thicker and denser and drop faster and don't have as much face to them, so they probably cut through the water a little bit, but that's good advice. I will make note on the Clio purchases. I think I've still got some in my box, but they always feel like they're too small, I guess. But there's always the potential of being spooled by one. 3/4 ounce, huh? So you don't have any other weight on there, just that 3/4 ounce. We generally bring, I guess you've probably seen, Buck, is leeches. We'll bring like 2 pounds of leeches in there, and that's what we're catching our eyes on. But that is great to know because I'm starting blind on a new lake, so I need to narrow some stuff in. Stu from Boundary Waters Journal marked up some maps for me. But he's kind of a bass guy, so he'll mark up some trout spots, but I don't know exactly how hard he's pushing for some trout, so it's nice to get some other info. Isn't the best part about up there is you can share information without concern? It's like, well, if you want to spend an entire day getting there, risking your life, go ahead and fish it as hard as you want.
Pete, can you describe just this rod right in front of you? Like, what do you use for sturgeon fishing?
My sturge rod?
Yeah, like what?
Well, these are Wolfram rods, which they don't make anymore. When we were filming another fishing show, this guy hooked me up with 3 of these things, and I still hear people talk about them. They're just really stout, thick rods. They have a really long butt, which is nice because you can get them under your arm, and you can really get some cranking pressure. It's crazy if you have a big sturgeon on. The line is fighting the edge of the ice, and then the rod itself, that bobber just moved a little bit. The rod itself is just really stout, but they will wear you out. I mean, you can try it on your knees, but it's a ton of work. You almost have to be standing up. And the big ones just get to do what they want. You just try and make progress. I think I've got 30-pound braid on there, probably a 20-pound clear leader on the end. Actually, we have those rigs from Walleye Willie's, which is about 5 minutes away from here. I don't know what town he's in. I don't think it's Bayport. It's on the way in.
Is it Stillwater?
Maybe.
He's
Might
probably
be.
within Stillwater, probably.
It's right off of 36. Anyway, he's great. He's always got a lot of good bait. But he makes these rigs that have 7 or 8 glow beads.
Do you have one of those around?
I do. I think he told me that he was using 70-pound tests on the leader part of it, but you can't really see the leader. It's hiding behind the bead, so I suppose he's just going for the gold.
So yeah, describe what we're looking at here.
So this is just up top. There's just a strong swivel, and then there's obviously, what is that, 10 beads, and then on the base, nice size treble. So we're just hooking this directly to the braid, and
we got like an ounce slip sinker above that.
ounce slip sinker, and honestly, we have yet to catch a sturgeon on one of these. Now that I'm thinking about it, because
Yeah,
the
you're
only
right.
2 sturgeon I caught was on a spoon, both times. I'm going, sorry, I'm reading your thing here, Buck. I'm going to Quishaway Lodge. Yeah, inch point 30, that's great. Headed to Alice in May. Wow, that's a great week to be going, the last week of May. 2 to 3 pounds of leeches, that's the game, man. You're bringing a 9-year-old? Oh, fish dance, buddy. I mean, that's 2 of the best days of fishing I've ever had were on fish dance. And there's petroglyphs there. If you've never been there, it's worth going over to the cliffs to look at these Indian paintings. But there's rapids. There's 2 sets of rapids. Well, I don't know what they call fish dams. There's one part above the rapids, is they call it something else. It's just like River Lake, I think they call it, because it's Quishaway. But there's rapids that lead into another lake up there. It's like north of Amber. There's a big Norway pine right on the edge of the rapids. Both of those sets of rapids in the spring have been lights out. And you can see them in my videos. That 35-inch walleye that we get is right on the fish dance rapids. But last year, I shouldn't say last year, we went Quantico last year. The year before, we went to fish dance from Alice, and it was dead. It was, I don't know if we were just off a week or something, could not find a single fish, 4 of us. It was crazy. But I've had 2 of my best days ever. Like rapids in the spring, and you're probably aware of this. Find moving water and find any depth, and there's walleye just relating to that spawn. You know, they're still sort of working their way out of that situation, and man, we've caught so many big fish that way. I mean, we had 4 or 5 fish over like 28 one afternoon. It didn't matter time of day. None of it made any difference. It was just some of the most insane fishing I've ever witnessed. So Fish Dance, just that name is so great, but it's got like a special place in my heart. Because that's when I kind of first realized what Boundary Waters fishing was. I'm like, oh my God, this is what it can be like, you know?
Tell people how they can see your videos. Like you started a playlist, right, on the channel?
Yes, I
You
think
did,
so.
yeah.
So if you go to Angling Uploaded, where this is, I'm sure you can see the logo. There's a Boundary Waters playlist. I haven't put last year's up. I just started checking out the footage. I was hoping to go to the Quetico actually this year, Buck, but my wilderness permit got pulled by Canada. They're not doing them anymore, so I tried to. It was only good through March when I bought it, so it doesn't do me any good. But yeah, they're all on there.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, that was a real bite.
Yeah, so that's kind of, there's a lot of whiffing that happens.
And he cleaned me out.
Yeah, so that was, I'm also looking at my float over here, just to make
Yes.
sure nothing's,
Stay on red alert.
yeah, we're on red alert here. And kind of, there's definitely flurries that can happen when you're doing this.
Grr. That was the first time I've seen my bobber move tonight. And that was
So for all we know, we're coming into a peak feeding time right now. You just never know. But so yeah, you'll get a better idea here.
So actually, I do. That was a hit, I guess, on the beads. I got to charge these beads up too, which I got.
I can.
Oh, I've got one.
You got one?
Well, there was one sitting here. Well, maybe I'll take yours for now. The problem really has been
I got to be very careful because Pete really likes to take my my lights.
My biggest issue with this evening so far is that I have not hardly drank that beer. Like I think I've had one sip.
It's usually like if that's happening, the fishing's usually better, right?
Yeah, but I think it's just a lot of talking.
So tell us what you're doing here.
So I got a big old treble on there, big strong treble. That's the other thing. You can't have trebles that bend out. These are really big worms. I got to go in for the minnows here. But actually, I'm going to throw a shiner on this guy. Because why not? We had a couple shiners in there. Oh, is he not alive anymore? He's barely alive. All right. So I'm going to throw him on there. You hook these guys through the lips. You want them to be kind of flopping around on the bottom down there. And I'm going to put a crawler over the top. You really can't have...
Braden, we are on the St Croix River fishing for Lake Sturgeon. It's basically on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin.
And you can see these are fat crawlers. So we're just making a mass of trouble on there. Got to get my hands cleaned off.
What part? We are south of Bayport.
We're kind of across from North Hudson. There's 2 parts of Hudson, which I figured out the other day driving through there. And finally, I'm going to spray a little bit of gulp on there, which I don't know if that makes a difference, but did I just hook my other...
16 inches, Braden.
So now we've got a big hot mess. What's going on? I caught my
Oh yeah, he's on a cleat, and that could
That's trouble.
really spell disaster later.
Yes.
Let's hope not. But let's just show that rig. So why do you have the beads? That's the biggest question, right?
The beads are to keep, theoretically, to keep the bait on top of the mud. It's kind of a float for when it gets way down there. So I got some gulp here. I don't know if
that's yep, gold.
That's just confidence spray. So yeah, the beads are just supposed to keep it up. Oh, I need that light. So now I'm going to charge up these beads a bit. I actually have a spoon in my other rig. Look at how quickly those things catch a glow.
Yeah, they do light up. It's pretty interesting.
So
that's a UV light. I don't know, guys.
It's good for detecting urine and semen in hotel rooms.
Hopefully,
that's how they market them.
Hopefully there's none of that in this shelter.
Oh, the stories these walls could tell.
That's really disturbing.
All right, I got to get back down there.
So yeah, so the reason you have that separation, why you have those beads, is that watch as this thing goes down. Okay, it allows it. I don't know if you could see that well, but you want to make sure if you didn't have those beads, it would just the whole rig would just kind of fall onto itself.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it. It separates the hook and the weight and everything. It doesn't. It keeps it separate, so the whole rig isn't just falling right into itself.
Right, and it can the sinker can just drag it into the mud, and then the whole thing is impossible to see.
Right.
So we want these bobbers mostly submerged, because you want to be able to detect the lightest bite. Like that one was pretty definitive. It was like a ding ding. But the other thing is we have these rod holders that. Not ones where you insert the butt into the rod, because then you have to fight your rod to get it out. You want something you can just lift right up and make sure that line is sitting on top. If it's underneath, you're going to pick up the rod holder with it. So it is, by design, you just want a quick pickup, and you're not wasting any seconds. If you see your bobber move, you're setting the hook. You're not playing walleye with them. To see if somebody's gonna tap and bite. We just lose the light? No?
I think it might have just been me, maybe.
But yeah, there's no screwing around. And I've got two over here, which is the constant battle of focus, because it's easy to get distracted. It happens fast. Even that time, I had a little bit of line, kind of zinged me up. We used to worry about the bobbers getting tangled into the end of the rod. I'm just becoming more aware of it and just deal with that as it happens. But if you do set the hook and the bobber starts swinging around the end of your rod and it's a big sturgeon, you are in a lot of trouble. There's not a good solution there. You just got to hold on to your rod. At that point, you're not trying to catch a fish. You're just trying to save your rod, because it is amazing the torque that these fish have.
Braden is going to Mille Lacs, he just said.
You gonna do some walleye fishing, y'all?
Curious how I've heard there's a lot of stuff for them to eat up there.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of difficult, but I don't know. That was a while ago.
I think they're alleviating the restrictions a bit this summer. Looks like there's something on the bottom there again. But a trophy smallmouth fishery now all of a sudden. It's kind of funny to see how that's working. It's a musky trophy fishery.
He's going for perch, sounds like.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
So I'll show you I'm going to put this back into the tripod, into the holder here in a second. But yeah, so we got another setup over here. This is where I'm fishing out of. My little fish finder there and tripod where this is going to be set here shortly. But yeah, we also have, that's the one light, but Pete's got some great lights up here that we're using too now. We basically have a hub shelter that has become a fantastic video production studio.
That's what died. My little lights died.
Oh,
the little
yeah.
lights.
So Pete's got these little lights too. This one just died.
I've got batteries for them, but I'm not going to mess with it at the moment.
Yeah, they're kind of our little. There's another one over here. They're kind of our bobber lights.
Yeah.
He's got the heater back behind him here that's making a lake. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't burn a hole right through the ice.
Feels good in my back.
Yeah. So
it is nice to have a lot of light on your bobber, because the darkness makes it hard to catch the slightest tinge. Like, you do get tuned into it. If your bobber moves a little bit, it's amazing how keyed up you are. And yeah, it is fun, boy. I just want to set the hook into one of these things, test out one
there's
of
all
those
kinds.
rods.
Yeah, me too. I'm here. There's all kinds of, what's kind of interesting too, maybe this is how it is on all lake sturgeon fisheries, but there is a lot of different sizes with sturgeon here.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good sign.
Right.
Pete's biggest is 60 inches. I think that's right.
That was massive.
But you can catch smaller ones, which are really cool.
We caught that one right almost where we're sitting too, and we were screaming like schoolgirls to the point where people from other houses came over and wanted to see what was going on.
You guys all right?
Yeah. We're like, yeah, my God, eh! Yeah, it was fun. Well, like, especially the first couple times you come out here, you're used to ice fishing just being this thing where, especially in southern Minnesota, you're kind of fighting for everything. If not the weather. But yeah, realizing that this is a thing, we're like, are you kidding me? Like, I've always been fascinated by sturgeon. And the Mississippi, there's so many fish in that river. People fish for them, but it's a busy, busy river. So targeting just a specific kind of thing, throwing crawlers or cut bait down there, you're going to get a lot of catfish. You're going to get, whatever eating those crawlers. It's just an insane amount of different fish down there. The Croix is really set up perfect for if you're fishing for sturgeon, especially in the winter. You're just going to probably catch sturgeon, either nothing or sturgeon, other than the occasional salamander, which are native to these waters too.
All right, guys, I'm going to put this back on the tripod here. You got to look at my ugly mug for a little bit as I do this. But yeah, we're if you haven't liked, you've been watching, haven't liked the stream yet, please give us a like. We like likes, and the algorithm likes. So we would appreciate it. And that looks pretty good framing. I'm all about framing.
Like lights.
Yeah,
He is a professional.
I should probably put on a headlamp, I guess. Get that going. It's always a good thing to have on. Yeah, what are some of the, if someone's never been ice fishing, what do they need to consider? Or at least ice fishing for sturgeon. Like, both of us have ion augers, which are 8-inch.
You need a good auger. I mean, it's true with ice fishing in general. If you can't trust your auger, it will wreck your trips. Because if you get out here and you only have a hand auger as a backup, and you need to cut at least 9 holes with a hand auger, forget about it. Get yourself a good auger. It's great that we both have one. We have never had one go down, knock on wood.
We have like original,
yes.
like ion augers with the same batteries.
Yeah, you can't even find the batteries anymore, but they work great. I mean,
yeah.
After cutting them last time, I was still on like 2/3 power, So,
yeah.
I mean, ice safety is a big one for me. Like, I'm not a big, I'm going to get out early. Try and catch them on 3 inches of ice. I have too many options in open water around where I live for trout fishing and getting out in the fresh water. So I'm more than happy to wait. And last year was a bust. This year set up perfectly. There's southern half of the state, no snow. It's just bizarre. We're in a drought down there. And we had weeks of ice, cold weather that just, no snow is perfect for creating ice because the snow will insulate that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you want cold and low
Braden.
precip.
Braden got a 58. Was that
nice.
on St. Croix? Is that where you got that one? But yeah, I mean, I have 2 separate ice setups. This is the big setup, and this one only goes in the car.
This hub style shelter. Yeah,
hub style shelter, insulated. Bring the big heater. Bring the big can of propane, not the green Coleman, like the grill-sized propane tank, whatever that is. Is that 10 gallons or something? And then I've got my dragging my sled version, and Cross Lake in Pine City, huh? That's pretty cool. But I've learned to go super lightweight for my sled rig. So I have an extra small sled. I have an uninsulated tiny house. I have a smaller Mr. Buddy heater. It's easier to tear down and pick back up, but the ion still comes with me. That's going with me whether I'm dragging or whether I'm driving. But I've sort of honed my gear into 2 separate setups. But as soon as I can start driving on the ice, that little stuff gets put away. Although when I do go up to the North Woods in the wintertime, I'll drag that through portages, like into the Boundary Waters and stuff, and kind of fish lake trout that way, which is a lot of fun too. But yeah, it can be a frustrating thing. I mean, some people are so set up with I just can't commit to a house, like a castle. I don't
like a wheelhouse.
Yeah, I just don't get out enough where I can justify that. Like, even if I used it 10 times, I can't spend 50 grand on an ice house, That's a lot of
Yeah, I mean,
You can
they've got to be so you can use them all season, for
yeah,
to me to even
yeah. If you
think.
can park it on the back of on the shore of a lake or something, that
Yeah.
helps a ton. But yeah, I don't know, like it's honed in over the years. Every year there's something it seems like you need. But I have a fish finder I love now. I've got a Garmin. Went through Lowrance and hummingbirds that I was fighting and didn't like. I had a Markham camera, and that got condensation inside the lens, which is eternally frustrating because the whole thing is useless right now. I just enjoy the show of watching TVs, but I don't mind the extra hassle of having a battery on something because that is kind of annoying. The more batteries and lights you have, the more chaos you have. The trick for me is as soon as I get home, I start prepping for the next round. Maybe tonight, if I get home late, I won't. But as soon as I get home from work tomorrow, everything goes on the battery chargers. All the tubs get pulled out. Everything gets set out to dry. And then everything just sits there. And then I pack it all the way as soon as it's fully charged and ready to go. And even if I'm not going fishing that week, that stuff is ready on a whim. So if I get a moment where I can go sneak out and go ice fishing, I can just zip out the door and be ready to roll. It's been my MO of late. Always be ready, because it makes that option so much easier. If you do get a moment to go ice fishing, you don't have anything ready, you're likely not going to go. But Greg, he lives right on a lake. I live in a county that doesn't have any lakes.
Yeah, we had a fish kill on the lake that I live on,
Oh, that's true.
and it is starting to come back. And I think whenever you've had like a lake just get decimated, and there's a time where it just starts hitting. It recovers and it can be just
And
crazy. And I think that's going to happen. Maybe I'm kind of predicting 3 years. It's going to be awesome, like crappie fishing. In particular,
yeah.
they really get going.
Braden, I have not fished Cross Lake, but I know which lake you're talking about. It's a pretty great lake. But like, what river system is that? If there's sturgeon in there, it must be connected to something, huh? Is that Mississippi? No. It's close though. Pine City. Oh, I might be thinking of Pine River too. It gets a little confusing up there. There's a lot of pines and crosses and lakes.
Do you guys ever get I've got a thumbnail that is cracking into the nail bed. You ever have that happen?
I just broke
It is
one.
like nightmarish scenario right
You
here.
mentioned this the other night, and I was like, that never happens to me. Now it's happened to me twice.
I know. This is the first time it's that severe where I'm like, that's like horrific.
Yeah.
And I keep on hanging it on stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, yay!
You got to put a Band-Aid, or like
I know,
I'll
that's
pet
what
my
I need to
dog,
do.
and it'll like grab his hair. I'm like,
Oh,
ah.
yeah, I'm terrified of it.
We're just getting old and brittle.
It is. It's just, yeah, everything's just kind of the first indication that I'm getting older was my eyesight. I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, no, I can't see anything real clear from about here. So
Yeah.
it's just these we're
And you
We're not
you
young-
don't make sense anymore too. That was another signal.
What's that?
You don't make sense anymore,
Yeah,
and you can't
my
hear.
wife says that.
You just say, "What's that?" a lot. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
All going downhill.
It's really been quiet on the graphs here all of a sudden. But last time it was quiet, it rolled right into a bite.
So who's all is? Looks like we got 17 people watching. Thank you for joining us here on the St Croix River in the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin.
We're holding it down.
Yeah, tell us where you're from. Where's everybody from? Light up the comment section.
I got a fish rolling in up top here. Gonna have to go up to him.
Yeah. So what's that looking like? 15 feet?
He's at 19.
20? Oh, 19. Got a fish at 19. Maybe you'll see. I'm gonna guess if Pete's able to catch this fish, it's gonna be a crappie.
Yeah, I scared him right out of there.
He's like, I'm out.
I don't need your stupid minnow.
Let's see. We got Lake Elmo represent.
Heyo.
Warmonger. Nice. That's a great. I like your name, Warmonger. STP.
Nice.
Where's STP? St. Paul. Is that what STP is?
It gotta be, right?
That's what I would say. We got Lake
Isn't that
Elmo
MSP,
represent.
STP?
It's not Stone Temple Pilots.
No, it could be though. Or it could be motor oil too, right?
True. That's very true. Braden's thinking about going fishing tonight. I think that's a great idea, Braden.
Didn't the guy from Stone Temple Pilots die in St. Paul?
Gosh, you know what? I think you're right. I
Or,
think you might be right.
or he was in a hotel up there.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Why do I just call him the guy? What's his name?
Guys, who is the lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots?
He's
It
one of
was,
the greatest
I've seen him.
frontmans.
I've seen him twice.
Yeah, he's amazing.
You have to have like a pretty strong drug addiction to be the greatest. I mean, and he did.
Right.
And he did. So yeah, that's kind of a prerequisite. God, there is a lot of activity over here now.
Yeah, now I'm getting marks.
So we're just keeping an eye on our bobbers to make sure nothing strange is happening, because a lot of times these sturgeon, you'd think, for a great big fish, there'd be a lot of movement on the bobber and craziness, but that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it doesn't move that much. So you've got to be pretty diligent keeping an eye on everything.
Yeah, I'm doing a bad.
Scott Weiland, thank you.
Scott Weiland, thank you. Yes.
Vernick, what is your Vernick F has been a supporter of ours for a long time. We appreciate it very much. Vernick, what is your name? I've known this before.
Also, Rick, what is your social security number?
Yes, if you could provide that as well. All credit card information.
Or just for a record keeping.
We just like to really
We're thorough.
we really want to know our viewers well.
I actually had a fish on this little rod earlier.
Vern! Heck yeah, of course.
makes sense.
Of course it's Vern.
Your father-in-law's
That's
name.
my father-in-law's name. Great man, his name Vern.
But I had a fish on my little rod, and I set the hook violently because I haven't had anything happen in so long, and my reel was set to reverse mode. So it basically just unwound. And then I had the fish on for like 6 turns, but I didn't have a good hook set, and it was over. So my excitement was short-lived.
As it's gotten warmer in here, the ice has kind of melted, and now it was more like snow. It's now melted, and it's freezing now. I don't have any cleats on,
Yeah.
so I am getting a little nervous that we might get me absolutely just doing a freaking a hell of a fall on the ice.
I just want the full
stream.
cleat mode for the rest of the season. I'm sticking with the cleats. There was some snow out here tonight, though. It was not too slippery. It was
That's why I didn't put cleats on. We got a little dusting of snow, which provides pretty good traction, but now all this stuff is melted, and it's there isn't very good traction anymore.
I haven't had a lot of practice on ice or snow this year from way down south there.
Yeah, so this isn't as far as, there's not really much to say as far as where do you find lake sturgeon, through the ice on St. Croix River. The answer is kind of everywhere. And it's best to just kind of, especially when you're using a shelter like this, and we got lights all over, we got the heater hooked up. You kind of have to just set up and stay. It's too much effort to move, and I'm not sure that there's even a reason to, because there isn't a whole lot of.
They move.
Yeah, they can be anywhere basically.
And you can sit still, and they'll find you. Is the idea. But the moving this operation is kind of an impossible idea. Like, can you imagine moving and drilling another 11 holes? Like, that's not happening.
No,
we're here.
Yeah, the drilling the 3 holes, connecting 3 holes is quite a lot of work. It's really the only exercise Pete and I get.
We did get some advice to buy the 10-inch auger, which we can just buy for the Ion, right? We can just use them on ours.
So. I believe so.
And then do 2 10s, which would save us 3 holes.
Way better. That would be way better.
I should look that up.
For sturgeon fishing, like I said, we're using 8-inch augers, but if you're going to do this on the regular, I would really recommend you get a 10-inch.
I'm looking up one right now. 10-inch Ion auger blades.
Yeah, I would just make sure since you have an older ion that it
Yeah,
would be compatible.
that is going to be the problem.
Take care, Braden. Thanks for joining us, brother. Good luck if you're going fishing tonight, man.
Boy, these things are like $700-800.
Are they really?
Yeah. I mean, the whole setup.
I noticed yours too.
A,
He has a slightly newer ion.
a 10-inch is like $175, but that's like a turbo auger bit for use with the alpha power heads, which is not us.
Right.
So, whoop, now we got some stuff moving in here.
Yeah, I noticed, I drilled with your ion,
Yeah.
and yours is a little lighter, man, than mine. You have
It is?
Yeah, and you have reverse. Mine doesn't have reverse. I have the very first ion, and
You're a caveman.
I'm a caveman. But it's kind of my style. I drive like a '95 Chevy Silverado pickup. You know, I don't. I like new stuff.
That was
Don't get me
pre-lithium.
wrong, but I kind of get, I'm fine with old stuff too, and plus a lot of times I'm broke, so that plays a role. What's broke? I'm not. I mean,
You're trying to
I'm
get.
doing fine.
You're rich with experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to be wealthy. So yeah, it's nice out. Not a lot of wind. So
Yeah, you can hear the bridge to our north, which is we're a long ways from it, so you can tell it's calm out there.
yeah. And the ice, gosh, the first time we came out here, I think we did that live stream too, and you could hear it in the live stream.
Yeah.
But it was constantly, the ice was constantly making
Boom,
noise.
boom, 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 boom.
Constantly. And now it's completely silent. And I don't even really know why that is. I've thought it was because, if it's getting cold, I thought colder weather created the ice making a lot of noise. But I'm not sure that's exactly right, because I don't remember it being that cold. Was it when we first?
It was pretty cold tonight, yeah. It was freezing cold because we just shoved everything in the car and escaped.
Yeah, maybe. And I guess maybe it still is.
Buck says, check out a Strike Master Light Flight on the cordless drill for your next auger. Weighs about 8 to 10 pounds, depending upon your cordless drill. I've heard about those.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you can do a 10-incher on that, I would assume. I guess you can just do any auger bit you want on the end of that drill, huh? Is the
That I don't. I mean, yeah, that's a good question.
Is the actual drill a Strike Master? Or you just use your best cordless drill? Oh yeah, you're saying right on a cordless drill.
Yeah,
right?
it's like yeah.
I think the trick there is be sure you have a quality cordless drill.
Yeah.
Because I do have a drill out here for putting stakes in the ground. There's a nice mark. To just batten down the house, which of course I don't need it tonight because it's nice and calm out there. But putting those in by hand is not fun. Yeah, it's like the cordless drill revolution. I've seen a lot of those guys.
Yeah, and those augers, they're actually like plastic. I don't know what the flute or whatever they're called, like the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why they're so light. Huh?
Yeah. It's pretty slick.
They just don't get pressure on them somehow when they're.
All that's doing is just getting it's just like a conveyor belt, getting all that stuff that you're cutting out the hole.
The blades doing all the work,
yeah.
I guess. Oh, so
It
that's
sounds,
how that works.
It sounds right though, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh, what was that?
That was a GoPro.
Oh yeah, we got a GoPro over here that's being a bugger. I'm not quite that worried about it. I think I just need to put another battery on it.
I'm gonna fluff.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So what we're doing here is we're just kind of resetting our bait.
I usually lay it down very softly, so it's. And I actually have a big shiner on both of my rods right now, which I've never done before. But I've talked to guys, some today actually at the shop, saying they shiners, have a tendency to lay on top and flop around. So
Buck says he fished with Brian Brosdahl, who's a famous guide, Northland Pro. Is that right, Buck? I think that's right. He's with Northland. He fished with him last week. He used a Razor 6 and 8-inch bit and DeWalt drill, probably the fastest way to drill holes.
really, it's amazing how a drill would be more effective than a.
I think it's just because, I don't know.
I mean, cost-wise, that's insanely,
Yeah.
you can get an amazing drill for a couple $100, I'm sure, and then if you buy, you can save $300 or $400 off an ion, I'm sure. Plus, you can have extra batteries or whatever you want there.
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, if you would, I know this, I'm trying to spread out my liking stuff a little bit. Me asking you guys to like, but it does make a difference. So if you haven't liked the live stream yet, please do so. We'd appreciate it. I'm just gonna put a new battery on this GoPro over here. Use these are I love these. These are Gold Zero batteries that I use this is external battery power for my GoPros. And I use these in my kayak when I'm doing kayak videos, and they last all day. They've been great. But like an idiot, I forgot to charge these for this trip. But luckily, I've got enough of them where I think we'll be all right. So we'll put this over here. My thumbnail is still getting stuck on stuff.
Ew.
It's disgusting.
You better hope I don't get a fish right there. You'd be in
Oh,
trouble.
I know. Can you imagine? That would be...
That wolf
would be
ram
bad.
is going to do some serious damage.
That would be bad. That would be bad. What is it doing? It needs to get charged up a little bit more, I guess, before it's going to start recording. So, yeah.
Look at this guy.
Oh, yeah, you got some more.
He's chasing me.
He's got some action here. Got a
Oh,
fish.
no, he bailed.
Put this back. So we're just, you just got to keep an eye constantly on your bobbers because...
That's why I turned on a couple of lights right there.
Yeah.
You know what? We should probably close our window up there. It's getting a little chilly.
Yeah. The bite can be so subtle. Yeah, you just got to constantly be monitoring your your bobbers. But yeah, it'd be really nice to get a lake sturgeon on our live stream here so you can just see how cool these fish are.
Got a little precipitation out there. That's why the breeze picked up. Something's blowing in here. You can just hear some little snowflakes hitting the outside.
Oh, by the way, so you saw that thing under the ice there?
Yeah.
It's that.
It is?
Yeah. It's just a reflection from the tip of the rod.
Weird.
I can see it better right here where it's, yeah.
Move the rod. What the heck?
See?
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's an illusion,
Your eyes
man.
play tricks on you on the ice, man.
That's crazy. I've been staring at bobbers all day.
We're sitting in 33 feet of water, 16 inches of ice. And yeah, Yeah, those work pretty slick, huh?
Yeah, they're good. I like them. I mean, they were $25 for 2 of them, I think,
Yeah.
for a pair.
So we have a whole new lighting setup. We're probably better lit than if you saw our last live stream. We're kind of getting this more and more dialed in. I'm understanding how to use the YouTube live
As soon as we get
interface.
As soon as we get it figured out, then we go back to fishing. Summertime when we forget everything.
Yeah.
Just so it goes.
And action.
Bobber. Go. And go. And, okay. All right, that's fine. I mean...
Buck, did you say where you're from?
Ooh. Got my spike stuck in the chair there.
Okay.
I'm okay, though, everybody.
I wonder if Buck is... I think Brian Brosdahl's from Baxter? Brainerd area? If I'm not mistaken.
Take a look at the weather here real quick. We gotta get a little picture-in-picture of us on there. It is currently... The weather in Bayport, Minnesota, currently is 21 degrees. Humidity is at 83%. Dew point 17. Pressure 29.89.
29er.
Feels like 14 degrees. Hourly report looking like 15 to 35% chance of some precipitation in the near future. But don't let that keep you at home, folks. Go out and enjoy yourself. Life is short.
Life is short.
There is a bunch of snow out there, but it's a little bit north of us.
Okay. Doesn't sound too terrible out there.
If you're in Elk River, be careful on those roads. They could be a little slippery.
Is it saying that? Because that's where I'm heading later.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
I am going to be
just on the radar.
Taking it easy.
My kid is asking for gas money. Ay, caramba. This is exactly...
What is gas money nowadays? What are we looking at? What does it take to...
Whatever it takes to fill up a tank. Was that $30, $40 or something? All right. Uh-oh.
It's shutting down. We're gonna let that thing charge for a little bit. So where's everybody from? If you're just joining us, thanks for stopping by. Greg and Pete on the St. Croix River in Minnesota, actually the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And yeah, we're going for lake sturgeon. We've got 4 holes drilled. You got to drill big holes for lake sturgeon. They can get... Pete's cut a 60-incher out of here before. And we've got 2 fish finders, just kind of monitoring what's going on down there. And there's a lot of life. They're not all sturgeon that we're seeing down there. This is a very... this river has a lot of biomass. So... But there are plenty of sturgeon in this fishery. It's just sometimes they do not cooperate, just like any fish. And the best advice probably to anyone that wants to come out and do this is that you just got to spend time on the water, especially with this, because once you kind of set up, you can't move, really. You know, you're kind of locked into an area. But I would say just keep doing it, and you will be rewarded with the sturgeon. And some days you can come out here, some days, nights. I don't know that it, people catch sturgeon in the daytime too. It doesn't need to be a night thing. But you can catch there can be nights where it's multiple sturgeon.
No. We have 40 minutes. We need to catch fish. Oh my God.
40 minutes. So Pete's
that was really wet.
Yeah, it's getting pretty rough behind you there. We got 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
And then we got to roll out. So we'll stick it out here doing this live stream for 40 minutes, and hopefully we'll get a sturgeon for you guys. Appreciate you watching.
We have, there's no place we'd rather be.
There really isn't. Don't tell my wife. God.
I mean,
No, I'd love
within
to.
reason.
No, I'm just kidding. I would love. My wife would. This would be a blast with my wife. She would.
Oh my God, that was an amazing recovery.
You like that? Thank you. Yeah. So I do mean that. I am not kidding.
He's serious, folks.
She would like this. I mean, she'd like it more if we were catching fish, but
Yeah. But then you guys could talk about your feelings if you weren't catching anything.
So there's constantly stuff on the graph. I'll pick up this. We'll get some more handhelds here, stuff here shortly. I'll get this off the tripod and show you more what's kind of going on here. But Pete just turned on two. We'll call them our bobber lights.
Yeah.
He's got two lights going, kind of on our holes here to be able to see the bobbers better.
Keep us a little more alert.
We got kind of the camera light here, just facing us. And then Pete's also got nice kind of ceiling lights up here now too, so we're much better lit up here. I mean, it's Hollywood. We just need the.
It's a real deal, man. It's just we just need a Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah. We want this to be a monster movie, you know.
Mm-hmm. Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it. Give us a like, guys, if you're watching and you haven't liked. I know it sounds ridiculous. It kind of is ridiculous, maybe, you know. And I mean, Pete and I are old school.
Even if you don't like us.
Even if you don't like us, give us a like. But it does mean a lot to the algorithm, and it's the age of the algorithm. So feed the algorithm. But yeah, we appreciate you watching and joining us out here. I love the technology. I've been a video guy for many, many years. And to be able to do a live stream out in the middle of nowhere, you know, and just have you guys watch is really remarkable to me. I know it's been around, this technology's been around for a while now, but
Still weird.
it's still
The lag on
fascinating.
my phone is just like 3 seconds. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's not showing anything on the radar, but it sounds like there's a lot going on out there.
Yeah, now we can kind of hear.
Yeah, it's showing completely clear where we are as far as precipitation, but here comes a crack.
Yeah, there's a crack coming towards us.
Kaboom, boom, doo, doo.
It's interesting too, like it's probably a car that's doing it, not far from us, but that car kind of pushes the ice down, cracks it, but it also affects the water. You know, the water at the holes will start just kind of bobbing up and down.
Right.
Sometimes you'll think you got a bite.
Braden's still hanging out. Brent says, my brother won a Razor 8-inch from the road show, the Bros Road Show a few weeks ago. Giveaway. Nice.
Did he say where he's from?
I don't know.
Let's see this here.
I think we're all Minnesota tonight, right?
Is everybody from Minnesota here?
Can we
all
start?
Minnesota?
Can we talk shit about the Packers safely? Like, are we all together on the same page here? There's always that one guy from Minnesota though. It's like, well, I grew up in Green Bay.
I know.
Fuck. Including me, who was born in Milwaukee. I should guess.
Yeah, it's like Pete isn't a true Minnesotan. Okay, like it.
It was 3 months. 3 months of my life. I lived in Milwaukee. My first 3 months, I had no control.
I'm straight out of Austin, man. You know. Austin, Minnesota. Actually, straight out of Adams. I never lived in Austin. I was born in the hospital there.
I grew up on the same block as Jeffrey Dahmer for 3 months.
Did you really? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I didn't know that.
I don't know how old Jeffrey Dahmer was in '73, but that apartment was right there, next to ours.
Vern's from Minneapolis, right on, man.
Yo.
Vern, have you ever come out here before? Have you ever done this?
Have you ever seen Prince in live?
Yeah, have you ever done that?
That's the first thing everyone asked me when I lived in Texas. Oh man, you're from Minnesota? You know Prince? No. I don't know Prince.
You didn't. You didn't play basketball with him or anything, or
No, just
he was pretty good at basketball, I heard.
everybody in Texas thought Minnesota was like 18 people. I'm like, oh my God, you guys all just hang out together?
Yeah, I was just in Texas. I was talking to Pete earlier. I don't want to piss anybody off here saying this, but I've done a lot of work in Texas. Right, two states I've worked the most in, probably Texas and Florida, and I can't for the life of me understand why so many people are proud to be from Texas. I mean, so much of the state is just
Hot take.
flat and dry,
That whole portion from like
scrub brush.
the whole beach from like Bayport, Corpus Christi, all the way to Houston is like the flattest land I've ever seen before. Because it's just like this sloping for hundreds of miles. And then the beaches are just like full of junk down there.
Did God really bless Texas?
Just depends on what part. Like the hill country's great. San Antonio, Austin, pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
West Texas has got some Austin, like Lubbock area.
There's East
it's
Texas
just,
with the pine trees is beautiful.
yeah, it's so huge. It's
Yeah,
like
true.
it's hard to like. I was shocked at how piney Houston is. There's a lot of pine trees in Houston. But I know what you mean. Like we are traumatized by prairie because we grew up on it. So anytime I see just the slightest hill, I'm like, oh, look.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of lift in the land up ahead. It's pretty exciting.
Vern, have you ever fished for sturgeon out here? You're not far.
It's hard to get a feel for how many people are even doing it tonight. There's a lot of people out here fishing, but I don't know who's fishing for what. That being said, I don't know why you come to where we are and fish for walleye, because we're not next to any type of structure at all.
We're basically in the basin of the the river.
We could go 100 yards any direction and the depth would not change. It's just, it is what it is.
Vern says, yes, I tried it years ago a couple of times before it was popular. Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't need to get around. From the times we've been out here, for sturgeon, there's kind of a group of anglers, like permanents, downstream of us here. But I don't, talking with Darren Troseth, he has a guide service out here called Three Rivers Fishing Adventures, highly recommend.
Holds the state record, catch and release sturgeon, caught right here.
Check out his YouTube channel as well. Three Rivers Fishing Adventures, but he came the last time we were out. We met him out here, and he basically said that you don't have to be around anybody,
He prefers to get away from people.
Yeah.
He did kind of mention he had better luck with bigger fish when he was closer to a ridge. But he said numbers were never as good. But he's like, I caught big fish that way before, which is tempting, but I just want to catch fish. Just give me anything. Because now, this is not the first time we've spent 20 hours straight fishing for sturgeon without a sturgeon.
Right.
We've done this.
Right.
You'll just get into dry spells and there's nothing you can do about it. That's why those hook sets are so important. If you get a ding-dang and you're not catching it, they're gone before you even knew what happened, and you just think nothing's happening, and you could be just missing fish. I'm telling you, I've been really bad on this bobber to my right, because I'm trying to play to the camera.
I know. So Vern says, saw Prince at Paisley one night, right on.
Nice, dude. Yeah. We did too.
Yeah.
We saw his last show at Paisley.
We would have never suspected he'd be dead there, by the way. 3 months later. It was crazy.
Yeah, what a weird
in an elevator. I'm not gonna
I actually saw some footage of TikTok of him laying there. He was outside the elevator. It was weird because they were showing police footage and I'm like, where is this stuff coming from? I didn't know any of this was public, but it was kind of jarring to see. Oh God, it's so stupid.
Yeah. And what's really kind of creepy is that So one of his friends, after he had died, was interviewed, and he said that Prince told him that Let's Go Crazy, the elevator was the devil. The reference to the elevator in Let's Go Crazy is a reference to the devil, and the fact that he died in an elevator is super creepy.
I think technically fentanyl was the devil in that scenario.
Yeah,
As it always is.
yeah.
Sounds like a ton of fun before it kills you, though.
I'm sure it's, I hear heroin's awesome.
Yeah. Like all your emotional and physical pain just disappears.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the downside? I don't get it.
So Vern says he fished Rainy for sturgeon a few times too. Yeah, sounds like Rainy. Talking with Darren Troseth, that he believes that Rainy you can get, it's got some little bit bigger fish in it.
Yeah, they have the ability to go out to the big lake and get big. The thing with Rainy is the ice is a little more dangerous because there's so much current, and just keeping lures, keeping your bait straight down is more of a battle because the Rainy's just swift. There's not a lot of places where it just opens up and mellows out, but spring fishing up there sounds like a ton of fun. You just gotta lock that boat down and put on a 3-ounce sinker, and we do got some snow hitting though, huh?
Yeah, it is. We do have snow out there. I got about an hour and a little over an hour to drive, so I get a little nervous this time of year. I really hate driving in winter weather.
It always sounds worse when you're inside a tent or a ice house because it makes a lot more noise. But yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, viewer-wise, there was a truck that went in just a couple days ago. The coal plant up here releases warm water, and it went in quick. The front end went in, and then they got out, and then the rest of the truck went to the bottom, and they already pulled it out. But that's happened twice in 2 weeks because people aren't aware of the situation with the XL plant and the warm water discharge. So when they quit discharging, they get thin layers of ice out there, and it gets hyper dangerous because people are just driving around saying, well, there's 1.5 feet ice, we can go anywhere. But we did not head anywhere near the plant for this little adventure. We were keeping it close to home.
Yeah, if you come out here, we are basically Bayport. We're south of Bayport, but you want to stay away from that power plant.
Yeah, if you go north out of Bayport, you're asking for trouble. There's a lot of houses out there, but if you're not really familiar with it or you're driving around in the dark, it is not worth the danger because, especially if you're sturgeon fishing, there's good sturgeon fishing everywhere. I think the lure over there, though, is the bait fish and the dying bait fish, and I'm sure the sturgeon fishing up there is really good. But also there's a lot of people and a ton of danger, and it's just not in my bag.
Yeah, they've got to do something. That the power plant something's got to be done, because that's 2 trucks. Did you say it's like within 2 weeks? Not
2
even
trucks.
maybe even a week.
Yeah, it was not that long. Now we got wind coming under our house right here. We were sitting good, but now we're getting a breeze. See if we can kick him back a bit.
Yeah, it's one of the tips that we could get. I can give you this pretty solid tip is that just act like you're starting to get ready to leave, and you'll probably get a bite.
So true. We just we're doing a podcast, and as soon as we decided to wrap it up, we got a bite, and it was a catfish. But 2 times ago, we started the cars, loaded up all the gear, left one pole in the water, and when we picked up the pole, there was the biggest sturgeon of the night. Time in the water.
Yeah, you just got to put your time in. You got to. Do your research. Don't get me wrong, but got to get the line wet. Guts to get the line wet. Yeah, appreciate you guys staying out here with us. You gotta love it. We could have never, when we first started fishing together, Pete and I, we could have never imagined that this would be the future. It's 2025, 25 years into this century now. A quarter of this century is gone.
What happened?
And we are broadcasting live to the world. You know, could you imagine as punk kids, us fishing, that we'd be doing this like,
Hey, mister!
in our, well, I'm nearly 50. You're into 50s now, into the, and I'm right there. I'll be 50 in December. So we're, you know, just happy to be here. And all these kids, these young YouTubers with their technology, and I'm like trying to, it's in horizontal or it's in vertical mode.
Do we have audio?
Like, oh, this is what it's like to get older. I can't see very well anymore.
But they don't have beer mostly. That's
Good. Right.
the big separator.
Yeah. Yep. We got pretty good.
As soon as I get done, I sit here and drink a bunch of beer, don't catch any fish, and then I head to town and just look for a fight. It's my normal routine. What are you doing?
You want to fight?
What'd you say about my fishing skills? I think I'm gonna try a Wisconsin beer.
There you go.
I don't have a twist though.
I know. If you want, I can open it for you. You know how to do that?
Don't do it with my glove because
No, it
it'll
won't.
start leaking.
It's not. It won't. Here, I'll show you. Here's a little tip. It's a pro tip.
Don't like this plan at all.
No, it'll work. Well, so you go like this. You got that.
I know the routine, but it's gonna tear a hole in that stupid
You
bottle.
think so?
They leak.
I don't think so.
I don't know. We look good. All right, now I get to have a Rush River. Of course, I've been watching my bobbers again. Oh, I'll probably put this away.
There you go.
It's like a little grab bag of fun over here.
You got a trash can for your top.
Yeah. Also, oh, is that the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't leave your garbage on the ice,
Yeah.
people.
Please.
It's
please.
the frickin' worst. You come out here and then you just see a disaster. And every year, there's always some asshole
There you go.
that makes us all sad.
All right.
It is a tough thing to enforce.
Yeah. There's all kinds of people out there, Pete.
That's true. Maybe it's, in somebody's religious ceremony to leave Doritos and beer cans on top of the ice. I just don't understand the religion. Maybe I should be more sympathetic. I'm telling you what, if we weren't on the live stream, I'd be tearing into those honey mustard pretzels.
Go for it. Here.
No, it's just going to be me
You're
chewing on
probably right.
Mike.
You're probably right.
Those are crunchy pretzels.
Yeah. Yeah, I do appreciate you caring about our audience.
Yeah, I have
know.
respect for these people. They'd be hitting the dislike button
Yeah, we don't want that
as quickly
for
as
sure.
possible.
Is there still a dislike button?
I
don't
don't-
even know if there is a dislike button anymore.
You're asking the wrong guy. I can tell you this though, I've never disliked a video on YouTube.
No, me neither.
I have liked, but I never dislike. That's the kind of guy I am, Greg.
Oh, I know.
I think there's something kind of fat on the bottom here. I'm getting kind of a chunky mark.
Okay. Yeah, come on, Sturgeon. That's a pretty good mark right there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Getting a mark about
Well,
20, looks
this
like
is-
22 feet.
This was a
Here.
mark on the bottom here too. See that hump?
Yeah, let me
There's a bigger mark.
get this. Let's take this off of the tripod here. Maybe I'm kind of feeling maybe something's going to happen here. I'm getting positive vibes happening. We're going to take this off the tripod. And Pete is multitasking. Very talented dude.
I'm drinking, I'm jigging, and I'm watching two bobbers. And I'm hosting a major live stream event.
Appreciate the likes, guys. Yeah, so you can see that mark that just went out.
You can see my jig on the bottom there. I'm bouncing the little guy around, but there's a mark coming in. But those are That's a little fish, I'm pretty sure. But he's interested. See how he's coming down?
Yeah. You think it's possible to catch a sturgeon, like jigging?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys will start jigging when sturgeon are in the area with their big rigs, you know?
Yeah.
Just to, like, start causing some chaos there, and then they just come through and... Ba 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 ba. That's
It's
my
like
alarm.
a lullaby.
Yeah. I set an alarm every night that reminds me I'm a terrible fisherman. So I don't get too big of a head.
So Pete just put these lights up. That's kind of our bobber light there. We got another one over here. It's illuminating my bobber. Very slick. And then Pete recently bought. That's our kind of our camera light, or the light that's kind of the primary light.
And these little guys, which they had died. I could have hooked these into the battery though, just didn't do it.
Yeah, so those were also we were kind of using as our bobber light.
We got
and
like
Pete's got
3 or 4 hours out of them probably.
yeah.
I think they're work lights technically.
Where'd you get? And then he's got these lights here.
Amazon, yeah, just Amazon LED like work lights. I looked up, and those are like for automotive. You know, you can clamp them by the engine, and
Yeah, it just clamps on there. It's lighting kind of.
those have the batteries cooking them. So
Yeah, the external batteries right there. And got another one over here. So this is probably the best lighting setup. Well, it is the best lighting setup we've ever had out here. So we're getting better.
we can see what we're not catching.
Got a wide, this is our GoPro over here getting our wide shot. So we are ready for the giant to show up any minute. And to Pete's left there, he's got our fathead minnows in there. So when you rig up, for these sturgeon, you're just, it's crawlers and
Street corn almonds.
and street corn almonds.
Aren't as crunchy sounding.
Yeah, it's basically just it's a treble hook that you just gob up a bunch of night crawlers and fathead minnows on the treble hook, and that's how you catch sturgeon. Nothing too complicated. Most of what you have to do to catch sturgeon is wait. It's a waiting game.
God knows we've been doing that.
Yeah, this has been our primary. Yeah, that's all the fishing we've done this year. Pete and I has been sturgeon.
That's true. In 2025, we've only sturgeon fish.
So we are due for a big one here. We've caught, I guess, 2 so far.
Yeah.
For the year, but we are due.
The 2 combined smaller than my biggest ever. That's not what we're looking for.
And so Pete, talk about it. And I'm a big believer in scent. What are you doing as far as like just an added little?
Yeah. So we got Gulp minnow, classic, and Gulp nightcrawler, which I didn't even know existed. But when we were out here fishing last time, I was like, that's the one I'm gonna buy. I'm interested in what that even smells like. Is it like the night crawlers that have been, sitting in your garage for 4 days in 70-degree heat, or is it fresh night crawler smell?
Wouldn't you think that rotten night crawler would be better than fresh night crawler? I don't know.
They say sturgeon do not like rotted. You can't use day-old frozen cut bait. They just say that doesn't work. So, but it's weird. I think fresh is the name of the game. It seems like catfish too, but sometimes of the year you can get away with frozen cut and it's not as big of a deal, but I always feel better with fresh. But a lot of guys use fresh cut suckers out here, almost like we do catfishing in the summertime,
Mm-hmm.
But I've always just went the minnow route. Seems like the right way to go. I wonder what the guy that, the scientist that's, he goes to a meeting and they're like, hey, we need Gulp Alive nightcrawler scent, and then he's like, well, where do I even start? Like, I can't even smell night crawlers. And then you just have to start breaking apart molecules, and
Yeah,
Trying.
it's a great question. I don't know why.
How could they even figure that out?
I'm not even sure like
It's
nightcrawler
probably
scent is anything. Like nightcrawlers aren't naturally in the water.
yeah. The whole thing is just a weird science. Who knows what works? But I certainly, when I use gulp, it's not that I don't catch fish. I guess the last 2 times we've been out, that's probably a bad example. But the time before it, we get a couple. It seems to not hurt your cause anyway. But
Yeah, I'm a big believer in scent because I've just seen it work. There is no doubt it worked for smallmouth bass.
and they're
You'd
so
think like smallmouth bass, oh, they're just primarily sight feeders. Yes, but they are big time in the scent too. And so a fish that is really, designed to be able to smell well, you would think it just makes, it'd be even more important.
yeah. Plus, there's a slow moving current here, so if there's a fish, 30, 40 yards downstream from us, you think they could walk back up that oily scent,
Right.
find what they're looking for. It just sort of covers a little more ground. And
So
again,
yeah, you can see there's constantly activity down here. This is common. Some of those are crappie, some of those are maybe channel catfish, some are, some kind of panfish, walleyes, everything that's in a river system. But
even those little fish are just not up for it tonight. And I don't know if they're all on at the same time or not. I haven't fished a small rod out here a lot. This is kind of one of the. I think I've done it 2 or 3 times before, but honestly, I don't remember what I caught last time we did it. It's been so long.
we are definitely due here.
Clock is ticking, my bud. 9:21.
We're just gonna stick it out until Pete has to. We'll keep live streaming until Pete's got to bail, which is, I totally get it, man.
9 minutes, we're tearing. I got to stick to my goals, otherwise
I totally get it, man.
I turn into a waste at work tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of breakdown time, and it's pretty exhausting. So, because we're basically we've set up a little house out here. It takes a while to get everything broken down and into our vehicles.
This light is dying. Starting to blink on its last leg. You can tell it's getting dark, but the battery's still charging. The battery's still fully charged. I wonder if these only charge when they're off. Is that possible? They do stay warm up here. I'm pretty sure that helps with the...
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm going to turn it off, but it might only charge when it's off, which would be detrimental. It's not even
We'll
charged.
put this back in the tripod here.
I guess the other light's fully charged, though. Yeah, that one's eating the
Because I
battery.
feel like I'm going to get bit here shortly. So better get ready. Test, 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 test. We got audio. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I love it. It's like fishing out here with how many of you? 19, 18 friends, 11 friends. No, see, I can't see very well anymore. That's the other part of getting older.
12 friends.
How do you get this thing back?
Oh. It was a high security situation
No
here.
problem. I get it. Pretty neat that we're able to do this, I will say. So thanks for joining us. We all are like-minded folks. We know what I feel very fortunate that I have fishing in my life. It's been kind of my I don't know, kind of my North Star, my compass in life, It's given me direction, and I've met wonderful people, this guy right here being a prime example, and to be able to meet other wonderful people through the internet. I feel very thankful for that. So
We actually met when we were catching mostly non-fish critters, more of turtles and frogs.
yep.
But we did have a passion for aquariums, so it was
Yes,
only a
we
matter
did.
of time.
Yes, we did.
And the one time we're like, you know what? You can just go out and catch fish.
And then
We're
our
like,
worlds just blew up. Yeah, that was very awesome. Then we learned about In Fisherman. You know, I think it's
50th
kinda how it went.
anniversary issue.
Yeah, 50th anniversary issue of
That
In
means-
Fisherman just came out.
You're about the same age as In Fisherman.
Yep. Yep. So I feel I think, speaking for Pete as well, like, feel very fortunate that we've had something that we're this passionate about. Just, you know, and it gets us outside. I think it's tremendously good for people's mental health to do something like this. I mean,
We are
people need to be outside.
we're in the right state for being passionate about fishing. Because,
Yeah.
like, if you were a passionate Iowa fisherman, I would just be like, oh. I mean, there's still options, but you know what I mean?
Oh, there's some great fishing in Iowa.
a lot less options.
I mean, one of my favorite fisheries are the Iowa Great Lakes. You know, and those are really fun lakes.
Mm-hmm.
So like East and West Okoboji.
Now this has turned into an Iowa promo.
Yeah, I know, right? Cedar River, actually one of the biggest catfish when growing up that I caught was from the Cedar River in Iowa.
That's right.
Channel cat.
All the way down to Cedar Rapids.
Okay, so Pete is getting...
Got something.
Got
Yep.
something?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna...
He doesn't feel huge.
Does not feel
Oh, I
huge.
lost
And
him.
it just...
I think that was a sturgeon, though.
Okay, we might have had a sturgeon
So
there.
classic. Running out of clock.
Running out of clock and...
Do you have the
What do you need?
UV? Oh, I got it.
Got it?
Grrr.
Yeah. I was like, should I get, what camera should I
Do
grab?
what you should have done is cleared all the lines.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's all right. He wasn't big enough where I was worried about it, but oh, that's annoying. You can see I've got the big bait on this one. I give all my credit to Nightcrawler Set.
Yeah, show that. Show just what's going on there. Yeah, that's the rig. The beads separate the weight from the hook, so it's not just all sitting on each other. It separates them. Also gets it off the bottom better if it's muddy. And that is it. And then those beads glow, so Pete makes sure that... Did you glow it? You
Yeah.
did glow it, yeah.
What just happened there?
So yeah, that is the setup. And it just can get... I mean, that could have been who knows? That could have been a giant.
Yeah, I don't think he was a giant, but
Did you have him for a little bit?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I had him for...
okay.
I moved him 10 feet off the bottom. You could see the mark where I was pulling him up, but mine not moved a
So,
bunch, which is
The
really
first
annoying.
thing we do is just clear lines, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because if it's a big
Yeah,
one,
okay. And then we'll...
I mean, I would have been screaming that if he was
Yeah.
big,
Okay.
but I don't think he was. So, but still, it doesn't take much for him to swerve 6 feet to the left or right, and then you've got a bunch of trouble on your hand. I can't believe I'm not moved that much. Jeez.
Yeah, don't forget that rod to your right, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here.
I'm pretty sure I just ran out of time trying to get this back down there. God damn it.
Pete is starting to lose it. It's very...
Stop it, I'm fine.
I get very nervous when this starts happening. He's like the Hulk, or the Hulk. Yeah, the Hulk. Starts turning green.
I'm more like Michael Knight. Jesus. Definitely had too much drag on there. Good thing he wasn't big.
Come on, guys. Come on, Sturgeon. Let's go here. Come on.
We need an urgent sturgeon.
Yeah, I agree. What happened to that bobber? Look at that bobber, right? Did
Yeah,
you just hit it with your chair?
No, I was just looking at it and nothing was happening.
I'm hallucinating again. Please don't make the roads terrible, Snow. I'm going to be going 30 miles an hour all the way home. I think.
9:30. I settle in. I'm like, okay. No, we're good to go.
Well, you call it.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish this beer, like an hourglass, and then we're pulling up.
All right.
Oh, it would have been a non 28 fish. You know, it was a sturge for sure.
Yeah.
It felt like one of those 25 to 30s like we were catching the other night. But it would have been a sturgeon. I just like holding those things in my hand because I can. Every time I'm like, I should have held it and looked at it longer because I'm so impressed by those things.
Yeah, they are really cool fish.
250 million years they're swimming around, and then it takes like 2 decades of man just raging until they're almost gone.
But they're back, baby.
They're back. Don't call it a comeback.
We've been here for millions of years, rocking the mic, putting suckers in tears.
We're just laying low.
Wonder how P. Diddy's doing. Speaking of which,
Yeah, he's been quiet as of late.
Yeah, he's laying very low.
He wasn't at the Grammys, was he?
Isn't that shocking?
What
Yeah, absolutely shocking. I see Kanye and his fiance or wife showed up.
Did you see that outfit?
It was something. I tell you.
Well, ain't that something? She kind of strikes me as like maybe she's
A hostage?
yeah, like
Yeah.
in captivity,
Yeah.
of some sort.
I feel it's a strange deal.
I mean, who did they have him sitting with?
I don't think they were allowed in, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
They just showed up for the.
Yeah, they were not
recovery.
invited, evidently.
Another character. He's really something.
He really is something. Did you see, what's Will Smith's son's name? Jaden? Did you see his outfit?
No.
He was wearing a black castle on his head. It's like, there's no one that should be looking up to any of these people, okay?
Well, they're
all narcissists.
They're
like just
they're sitting in LA, like tuning into this live stream and going, "Look at those idiots! They're sitting
Right.
on some ice, waiting for a sturgeon to bite." Then it makes them wearing a castle on your head not seem
I mean, I
so
might as
crazy.
well. Like, I guess I should wear a castle. on my
Yeah,
head.
you might
I
as
mean,
well.
Really, who am I to
An ice
judge?
castle.
An ice castle. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, why not? That's your Halloween
Yeah.
outfit. I'm an
I
ice
have
castle.
an ice castle on my head.
Why? What do you mean about my castle? What are you saying?
What do you? This doesn't look weird. You can have a club style or a clam hub style shelter on your head.
That'd be a great like umbrella hat, you know, just like a clam shelter. The bearded clam shelter.
Oh gosh, the bearded clam. I wish they'd come out with that model. Just
I
make
know.
instead of like just your regular like what do you call that a skirt around it?
Yeah.
It's fur, and call it the bearded clam. I can't believe they haven't done that yet.
Be bold. Don't lie in the shadows.
All right, who's still with us?
I'm still here somehow.
Pete's here. Anybody else?
Yeah,
How you guys doing?
I lost
Give
all
us
my,
a holler.
lost all my comments somehow. Oh, here they are.
What did he say?
We
Any
read
new ones in? Okay.
nothing new.
All right. Come on, Sturge.
Still got 9 people patiently waiting.
I know we're trying, guys. We are trying.
At least they're home watching TV or something. Hopefully, we're just actually stuck here waiting.
Yeah, we're at the mercy of the Sturge.
The Scourge of the Sturge.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been your live stream title,
Yeah,
too.
maybe next time.
Ain't bad.
Yeah, I like it. I do like it.
Old Diamondbacks.
What would Les Claypool? What would Les?
He would say, Gary's a race car driver. He's 24 years old. Everyone's like, who is Les Claypool?
Lead singer of Primus.
And one of the finest bass players in the world.
Is actually a fisherman, and he lived in the Northern California. He fished for fishes, probably still does it, fishes for
He fishes
white
for fishes,
sturgeon in the San Francisco Bay, believe it or not, or has in the past. I know.
How did they hook that fish? Like, how can you stick a treble hook in a fish and then it comes out?
Yeah, I do wonder if sometimes, like, if there is a better, if it, if I just don't like that bite is being taken up, and like you almost wonder if you could bunch everything up in front of that hook, you
Right.
know, and just so you have that treble hook completely exposed, and it's still
Yeah.
dangling,
I think you just don't want them to feel that thing at all because they're so sensitive.
I don't know.
Get those barbells they seem super soft and like they'd notice if something was sharp and metal.
Thank you, Vern. I appreciate it very much. We are trying desperately. We're sending as many positive vibes below the ice as we can, transmitting to Sturgeon. Hopefully, they'll get the message.
In a sturgeon sea,
Yes, it is a sturgeon sea.
paging Dr. Sturgeon.
Sturgeon, 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 sturgeon. Emergency. Sturgeon.
This is the portion of the night where we get loopy, and it happens every time. There's a little bit of insanity going into this.
You kind of have to be to do this.
Yeah, you do.
But we've caught sturgeon here, and so once you've done it, you know how good it can be.
You're just waiting for that night.
And I'd say fishermen are some of the most optimistic people.
You have
know?
to be, right?
My wife always says, you're so optimistic when you fish. I go, I know, I love it.
That's why I'm never home, hon.
Yeah. When you're at home, you're miserable and cynical and
This place sucks.
come on, guys. Vern, please send us some positive vibes from Minneapolis. Is Luke still watching? Luke, you still there? We need some positive vibes as well, my friend.
Gotta get the old headlamp ready.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where. I had 4 new headlamps last time, and I'm not sure where they are at the moment, but this one seems to be a trusty old favorite. All right.
And action.
Go.
Double header.
A double header would probably be total chaos.
Oh, man.
It wouldn't even be good.
I agree.
I think we just need one at a time.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, I still need to get a couple rods to do this. Just so I'm like, I got sturgeon rods now,
Right.
Instead of having to rely on you.
So you can just buzz out anytime you want.
Yeah. But
If,
we are
if you get nice weather at the end of February, I mean, you can come out here and just sit on the tailgates,
That sounds fantastic.
put a light on the bobber, and
Yeah, I could get used to that real easy.
yeah, and just not having the threat of having to take all of this down is
Yeah.
quite pleasurable.
John Bates, you guys should do a rough fish meet and greet. I'll bring a keg of Anti-hero?
Nice. Color me there. Rough fish and
That
anti-hero?
sounds awesome, John. We are totally down with that.
That would be fabulous.
And then Vern is sending us vibes, man. Let's go, pump it up.
Let's go, Vern! I think we could still organize a meet and greet tonight, can't we?
Yeah, I like that idea actually a lot, John. Like I think it's a great idea. I do want to. I've said it before that I want to do it, but I think doing meet and greets. This is another example, like great example, like the internet and what you can do, like meeting people, like-minded folks. That would be awesome to do something like that. And yeah, we are rough fishermen. We like catching everything, honestly.
I love
And-
me some rough fish.
Yeah.
I don't know what's considered rough fish anymore, but I think catfish have maybe successfully ascended in the north out of rough fish category. If they were
It's
ever there.
so interesting too because they're hugely popular down south.
They're the most popular game fish in America.
Mm-hmm. Like that's why you have all like the whisker seeker and stuff now, and there's other. I'm forgetting a bunch. There's a whole bunch of like just specifically catfish brands now. There's catfish boats,
River
really
rats.
cool catfish boats.
When I was leaving Walleye Willie's, some guy was walking out of there with like a 9-foot river rats full setup. I was like, "You're thinking ahead, dude."
What do you mean?
Like a full fishing rod, what do they call those cat rods? Mad cats.
Oh, Mad Cats. Yep,
Yeah,
Mad Cats.
like
Yep, that's a prime example.
He had like
Mad
an open
Cats.
water rig, like he was shopping for non-ice season. Standing at the till with it, I'm like, "Boy, it's gonna take some patience, buddy. You got a couple months to go. That ice is gonna take a while to bust
Yeah,
out this year."
It will. This is definitely like as far as I would say temperature-wise, more in line with what's normal.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of teens and low 20s coming up here, so
Yeah.
it's where it's supposed to be. But I had my boat in Mississippi, and not the dam part, but the lower Mississippi in like mid-March last year. That's like 5 weeks away.
It is interesting how that's why I'm like I just got to get out. If I can get out every week, at least once, I need to do it. Because I know what's going to happen. I should have I should learn that it just goes by. The older you get to, it's just like everything, just a year rips by. Mm-hmm. And I do it next year. No.
Plus,
No,
good things start happening. Like just being
Yeah.
out here, all of a sudden, you don't remember all those times you didn't catch anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just remember that one time. You're like, "Whoa!" I've driven home from here so many times where I'm just like, "That was amazing."
Yeah. Yeah,
Just stunned.
Pete's got way more experience out here than I do.
I had some solo trips. Actually, that video is up, but it might be on another fishing show still. I got like 5 or 6 one night where I was just out here by myself.
Yeah, so that's a perfect. If you've been with if you heard me a while back, I was saying like you can just have nights where you catch multiple sturgeon out here.
Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason. I just remember not even working that hard. I remember there was a long lull, and then it was just like clockwork. Like every 20 minutes you started catching fish. I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And I left in the midst of still fish biting. I was just like, I gotta get going.
Let's see here. Vern says, "How's horseshoe these days? Do you there's a thing that's I can't see what these days during winter. You still fish?" Yeah, so Vern, it's super frustrating. Actually, the first ice fishing trip I did was on the Horseshoe Chain of Lakes. And the lake that I fish, where I've caught them before, I can't catch them there in the winter anymore. I catch them in open water, good, and for whatever reason, and they've gotten bigger in there. So the DNR has, I guess several years back now, they put in regulations where you can keep 10, I believe. And what that did, so the channel cats in that system just were stunted. And I mean, they were stunted, but there's a lot of them, so it was pretty consistent action. Now, with those regulations, there's fewer of them in there, but they're bigger now. And I just cannot, the places where I've caught them before in the winter, I can't catch them in the winter. I can't catch them anymore. So, I don't really know what to do. I don't have an ATV or any kind of way to be more mobile out there. So it's just dragging a sled with a chest harness, and it's a lot of work.
And that is part of your ice fishing problem too. Like if there's a foot of snow out here, you don't have a vehicle to get out here.
Yeah,
And if there's a foot of snow, dragging is brutal.
brutal.
Like
Yeah.
you can snowshoe it, but you still got a sled that's fighting you every step, you know? There's
Yeah.
a bottom mark hanging
So
on
it's really frustrating. So Jim Lindner, the crew from Angling Buzz, uh, was out there. They actually put up a video recently of them out there. I think they were fishing near the meth hole. That's where I was told they were at. Um, and I don't know who said that, but I think that's where they were. I've never fished that area of the horseshoe chain before, but they caught a channel that was on, if it wasn't 20 pounds, it was close to 20 pounds. So the channel cats have gotten much bigger in there. To catch them through the ice, you got to work at it, and there are fewer numbers in there. But I don't want to give the impression that there isn't a lot in there still. I think there are. They're bigger, which is awesome. Like I've been saying, you just have to move around more. They're in different spots now, and I think you can have a heyday out there, but you gotta drill more holes. You got to be more mobile. If you have live sonar, forward-facing sonar, I think it's going to help you out immensely because you can just swing around and see where the schools of potential catfish are. That's what Jim Lindner and the crew, the Angling Buzz crew, was doing. So I think that would be, if you have that capability, you're going to have much better success out there. I just have a 2D, sonar set up, and I just need to get out there more and just start, just going to different areas. And last summer, I took my wife out in May, for open water, and we kind of had to go to a different place, a different area of the horseshoe chain that I've never fished before, but we found them, and we had a great time. Good ones, good channel cats, way bigger than they were in the past. So it's a totally different, the complexion, I like what a term I'm using, right? The complexion of that fishery
Is that a thing?
that cat fishery is different. It's not, and I think it's better. It's just there are places that I'm not used to them being. But I'm curious, Vern, have you been out there? Do you fish it much? Have you ever fished it? Have you heard anything? Like, I would love some pointers. Vern says, interesting. I started fishing it in '97 when In Fisherman first covered it. Haven't tried for maybe 10 years. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out there. I'm gonna try to get out there this month, hopefully, and just try different areas. You gotta be careful, obviously. The meth hole, in particular. There's some shady areas around that system, but
That sounds terrifying.
yeah,
Just something that's called the meth hole.
yeah, yeah.
I'll be out at the old meth hole, honey.
Yeah, you like Vern. Like I'll trade numbers for size. I mean, the last times I've been out, trying to catch them under the ice, I've felt that way too. But the size of them, boy, if you can find out where the heck they are, it would be so much fun catching them through the ice. It really, really would. I want to do it because there's other places. I know it's funny. What is his name? He started a YouTube channel like right when kind of YouTube was starting, and now he's got all kinds of subscribers. Andy Yak Angler. So he's primarily known for like kayak fishing, but where he fishes, when he first started filming his fishing trips, he did some ice fishing trips on a body of water where he lives. I'm pretty sure he's on the border of North Dakota and Minnesota. But I'm pretty sure where he was ice fishing was in Minnesota. And he was catching big catfish through the ice up there. There are, where's another? There's a place in Wisconsin too where you can do it. You know, catch them through the ice, bigger catfish. But there's just not many. You know, there's not many places. Kind of, I feel like in this country where you can catch big catfish. You know, channel cats through the ice. So, there's only 3 that I can think of. So I just want to get better at that system and kind of getting them more dialed in. But the reality is I probably need an ATV to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
What do they call those little machines?
Or yes, what are those snow?
They're probably way more
called?
expensive than an ATV.
I don't think so. Yeah, I can't remember what those are called, but yeah. Yeah, that meth hole is like just a traditional Vern, as you know. Heck, you probably got more experience than I do, it sounds like, on that fishery. But yeah, it's just, I think the meth hole is like the deepest. I want to say it's like 50 feet, you know? And it's all that just organic material down there just rotting or, you know, decomposing and creating methane. And so it keeps it open. But I think those fish are around there because it's just like the deepest part of the, you know, the lake. I don't know that I think they're just near that. I don't know if they're in that deep of water. Well, not that I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't be, but yeah. These sturgeon need to get their act together.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so wet right here.
We got a lake behind us here.
Something like
This is
that.
our heater. Yeah, if you should check out Vern, check out that. I guess you would Google like angling buzz, ice fishing catfish or something like that to find that newest video from like Jim Linder and his crew. They catch it's just a beautiful channel cat. It reminds me of like a Red River channel cat. It's built like a Red River channel cat.
What were they fishing with?
Just like the typical stuff that.
Like cut bait?
No, they're using like a buckshot spoon, like you're doing that, you know, and then they had a
with
dead
no
rod.
heads on it.
Yeah, and then they were using a rig which just like it kind of was like cut bait, I guess. Yeah, there was like a, you know, I think just like a single hook cut bait and then a split shot above it. So they were doing that too. You know.
Did they have like cameras in the water? Were they night fishing?
No, all daytime.
Was?
Yep. I think that's like, I don't necessarily, even for this, I don't know that you need the night fish.
I mean, I know you can catch them in the day, but
Yeah.
seems like everything tells you dusk and dawn and night are best. But I've been out here
Yeah,
in the
they
day
were
and caught
full on
fish.
daytime. Yeah.
Well, the tape measure's not getting a lot of use.
No. You calling it, Pete?
I'm working on it. Oh, geez, so I got 2 sets of spikes?
Look at you go. Yeah.
Super safe.
Redundancy, baby.
Better safe than dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always say.
We've been doing pretty good on the crawlers, man. We've really,
Yeah.
we got, like when we first did this, like what, 3 weeks ago? Got, how many? We got 6 dozen?
Right?
Crawlers?
We've been just kind of saving it, making it work.
I mean, I guess that means that we're not
Catching anything. Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah, Vern, check it out. It's it'll make you probably want to go to the horseshoe chain again. It's pretty darn impressive. In there, you'll see just how, you know, like forward-facing sonar, live sonar, it helps out tremendously. You know, they'll drill a hole and then they'll just swing around with that sonar, with that Panoptics, I think it is. No, it was maybe they were actually using Humminbird stuff, but they're just panning around and they'll see a school at a distance, and then they just go and they drill however far away, you know, they're seeing the school. So that would help out immensely to even just know, okay, you know, you just pan around with your sonar, your live sonar, and then know where they're at and where you should drill a hole. I would love to have that set up.
Let me grab your cam. We'll start putting some stuff in here. You want my elote almonds?
I'm good, actually. I got all those.
I don't like them. Hot take.
Appreciate the offer, but I think I'm good. It's very nice of you. Always been very
Offering you
good.
the food that I
Yeah,
don't like.
you don't want. I don't want it either.
No problem.
Come on. Come on, Sturgeon. It's a sturgeon emergency right now.
You can take those crawlers.
Okay. Did you get a comment there, Pete?
Walleye Willie. Brent says, yep, perfect spot for the new. Get out of here. Emojis. We drilled a lot back then.
That's what Vern said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really incredible how, I think for me, seeing that episode and how they're using forward-facing sonar, just to kind of find exactly where they were, and then it tells you, how many feet they're from you, so you just drill a hole that far. It's a hell of a tool.
God, you look on this screen and it's just like a couple of old dudes hanging out.
No. How did it happen? Probably sitting out here too long.
We just died in our
Like
chairs.
Rip Van Winkle.
It's gonna happen any second.
Methuselah.
Oh shoot, I got batteries up there. Go ahead. Your light should keep cooking here for a while though, right?
Yeah. This is when it should happen.
Yeah, when you're busy.
Yeah, this is when it typically you'll get bit. We are keeping the faith. You gotta keep the faith. Yeah, you always, glance down at your bobber from time to time.
Yep.
Starting to get all your stuff packed. Yeah, I think we got a pretty good lighting setup now.
Yeah. Getting it figured out.
We're mastering we're getting better at live streaming. We're kind of getting the whole right kind of lighting to be able to do this well. It's all just a trial and error, lots of error. Yeah, we're not gonna stop this live stream until we gotta pull these rods out of here.
It's a bold statement, son.
I'm not sure it's entirely accurate, but it's close to being accurate.
Another bonus of having a tub in here is you can just keep piling stuff in it.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too. Like Pete's kind of perfected this whole system of.
I pondered bringing, I've done it before, brought a table here just to keep stuff off the ice, but you could bring in a couple of those tubs and have a lot of,
It's it's really slick just having a tub like this.
Just to keep stuff dry, like your camera stuff.
Yeah.
You could just use an empty tub and throw it all in there.
And then we use it. It's nice just to use it as a table. You know.
Yeah, it's perfect. Wow. Oh, excuse me, everybody.
Easy,
Forgot
easy.
I'm going out to the world.
Goodness gracious, yes. And the the ice is slippery now in here. We basically have made an ice rink in here.
Not for me.
So yeah, Pete's got cleats. But,
Got like 1-inch spikes on.
You're being gracious enough to give me these night crawlers?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, those are top quality too.
Yeah, they are. These
Like
are
Willie
some
endorsed.
of the meatiest, juiciest night crawlers I've seen. Always, keeping an eye. How's that one looking? You're good there.
Try not to look, because that might also work.
Oh. These all have night crawlers in there still?
Oh yeah. I do not doubt that. I don't think we went through a lot of them, Greg.
You make a good point.
Here's another one.
Oops.
Oh, there's always something. More rags. Yep. Oh, I gotta get you my mic at some point too.
Yeah. Let's we'll call this. 1 second, Pete. We'll call her. We'll call this good, guys. We're gonna have to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
It was way more fun with friends.
Yeah, and we will before winter is out. We're gonna be successful doing this, but we're doing what you got to do. You got to put your time in. So, thanks for joining us, and we will try to do this. I don't know. I got to work next week, like all next week. That's how we'll end this.
It's good finish. How do we end it?
I don't know. Pete.
How do we get out clean?
It's so awkward.
Well, there's no way to get out.
And I can't breathe. Oh.